The 2024 US Open is just around the corner, and it's shaping up to be one of the most exciting tennis tournaments in history. With record-breaking prize money and some of the biggest names in tennis. This year's US Open promises intense rivalries, unexpected comebacks, and potential upsets. But who will rise to the occasion and take home the title? In this video, we'll answer 3 big questions that every tennis fan is asking. Will the epic rivalry between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic continue at the US Open? Which women's player has the best shot at claiming the title? And could we see a new star emerge? How will the historic $75 million prize purse affect the competition? And which players are poised to make a deep run? Stick around as we break down everything you need to know before the first serve at the 2024 US Open. This year's US Open is more than just a tennis tournament. It's the grand finale of the 2024 tennis season. After an electrifying summer that saw Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic battling it out in 2 epic finals, first at Wimbledon and then at the Olympics. The stage is set for what could be their most intense showdown yet, in New York. Alcaraz, the young Spanish phenom, managed to dethrone Djokovic at Wimbledon, a win that many saw as a passing of the torch. But Djokovic, ever the fierce competitor, got his revenge by defeating Alcaraz at the Olympics, taking home the gold medal. These 2 titans are now headed to the US Open, where they could meet for the 9th time in their careers, with Djokovic leading their head-to-head 5-3, but Alcaraz holding the most recent Grand Slam victory. The potential for another clash adds a thrilling layer of anticipation. Now let's explore the 3 big questions in detail. Will the rivalry between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic continue at the US Open? This rivalry has already given us some of the most memorable matches of the year, and fans are eager to see what happens next. Djokovic has dominated their hard-court meetings, winning both of their previous matches on this surface, including last year's ATP Cincinnati final and the Nitto ATP finals. But Alcaraz has shown he can rise to the occasion as he did at Wimbledon. Which women's player is most likely to dominate in New York? And could we see a new star emerge? The women's draw is packed with talent, from established champions to rising stars, making it difficult to predict who will come out on top. Świątek, the world #1, is the top favorite to win, but she's coming off a surprising loss to Zheng Qinwen in the Olympic semifinals, which ended her 21-win match streak. Zheng went on to win the Olympic gold, making her the first Chinese player to do so in tennis singles. However, despite this remarkable achievement, Zheng remains a long shot to win her first Grand Slam at the US Open, with odds of plus 3,000. While Świątek is the clear favorite, the US Open could be an opportunity for players like Zheng to shine on the bigger stage. Meanwhile, Naomi Osaka, a 2-time US Open champion, is returning after a 2-year hiatus. Although she hasn't won a Grand Slam since 2021, Osaka is always a threat when she's in form, making her another key player to watch. How will the historic $75 million prize purse impact the competition? And which players are poised to make a deep run? With the largest prize pool in tennis history, the stakes have never been higher at the US Open, adding extra pressure and motivation for the players. This year's tournament offers $75 million in total player compensation, a 15% increase from 2023. The men's and women's singles champions will each take home $3.6 million, up 20% from last year's $3 million. Even first-round losers will earn a substantial $100,000. marking a 23% increase from 2023. This increase in prize money not only rewards the top performers, but also provides significant earnings for players across all rounds, potentially motivating lower-ranked players to push harder. This historic prize money could lead to more intense and competitive matches, as every player has more to gain. Players like Daniil Medvedev, who won the US Open in 2021, and has a point to prove after a tough loss to Alcaraz at Wimbledon, could be particularly motivated. Additionally, players like Andrei Rublev, who recently defeated Jannik Sinner at the Canadian Open, could use this extra motivation to make a deep run in the tournament. But let's not forget the other contenders and potential storylines. Jannik Sinner, world number 1 and the Australian Open winner, has had an up-and-down season. He's been battling injuries and illnesses over the past few months, but is highly dangerous on the hard courts. How about Coco Gauff? At just 19, Gauff already has a US Open title under her belt, having defeated Sabalenka in last year's final. In 2024, she's continued to perform at a high level, reaching the semifinals in both the Australian Open and French Open. Gauff's ability to handle pressure on the big stage make her a serious contender to defend her title in New York. Aryna Sabalenka, who skipped Wimbledon and the Olympics with a shoulder injury, has deemed herself healthy for the US Open. However, resurgent American Amanda Anisimova took out Aryna in Toronto in the quarterfinals. Maybe Sabalenka is rusty, or maybe Anisimova is just on fire. Sabalenka is a beast on hard courts and is expected to be there at the end in New York. And then there's Emma Raducanu. After a strong comeback at Wimbledon, where she reached the 4th round, Raducanu looks to be in the best shape since her stunning US Open victory in 2021. Injury issues have plagued her since that win, but now that she's healthy, Raducanu could be a dark horse in this year's tournament. Elena Rybakina withdrew from the Olympics and skipped the Toronto tournament due to burnout, but she returned to play in Cincinnati. With some rest, she could be recharged and ready to compete at the highest level in New York. Mira Andreeva, the 17-year-old Russian prodigy, could be the next teenage sensation at the US Open. She reached the semifinals of the French Open earlier this year, showing maturity beyond her years. If there's going to be another teenage breakout at Flushing Meadows, Andreeva is the one to watch. The 2024 US Open is more than just another tournament. It's a culmination of an incredible tennis season, with record-breaking prize money and storylines that could define the future of the sport. The stakes are higher than ever, with a $75 million prize pool, the largest in tennis history. From the ongoing rivalry between Alcaraz and Djokovic to the rising stars in the women's draw, this year's US Open is set to be a historic event. Whether it's the veterans asserting their dominance or the next generation stepping up, the 2024 US Open will be remembered as one of the most competitive and thrilling tournaments in a long time.